Spider-Man No Way Home is coming out on December 17th of 2021. But we don't know what's going to happen in the movie. No summary, no plot details, just a cast and two villains. And we know Alfred Molina is coming back as a DH Doc Ock from the end of Spider-Man 2. We don't know what's Electro. We see the MCU version of Electro. We don't know if he's like the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2 Electro. We don't know. But what we do know is that this movie is coming out. We know the cast. We know the villain. We know we don't know all the villains. We know two of the villains, and we don't know what the plot. Alright, we don't know. But today, I'm going to be telling you guys what I think the plot is based on the ending of Spider-Man Far From Home. And Peter's identity was revealed from the end of Spider-Man Far From Home. So keep watching this video to find out all of my theories, because there's 5 of them. With WandaVision is all the rage, and Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness on the other end of Spider-Man No Way Home's release date, there's been a lot of speculation as of late this movie involves the multiverse. In fairness, there's a lot of talk ahead that as well as the people begin to wonder if Sony will try to incorporate Tom Holland's Spider-Man in with the characters introduced in Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse. The main idea is that Peter is ripped into an adventure in another universe with another Spider-Man, or he's just another reality. Obviously, there are several tweaks and variations in the theories involving the multiverse, but the gist is that Peter is not on. With No Way Home, he'll be forced to survive in a place he's not familiar with, along with whoever is there with him. Of course, I expect he'll pull through well though, but how could this strange trip affect him in the long run? So obviously, Peter's trapped in another multiverse, something like that. I don't necessarily buy this multiverse stuff theory, but it could happen. Honestly, knowing Marvel, anything could happen. My second one is Peter Parker's on the run. Spider-Man Far From Home ended with a hard mic drop when J.J. Jonah Jameson revealed that Spider-Man was responsible for the murder of the hero, Mysterio. Jameson provided a video that proved the hero was responsible, and then, in an added knife twist, revealed live that the superhero's true identity was Peter Parker. The final shot audiences saw was Peter grabbing his head, completely stunned and alarmed by what was happening. But a hero as prominent as Spider-Man has their identity exposed, it's a real crisis. Now he has to deal with everyone, good or bad, knowing who he is, and the consequences that come from it. It's a bit more manageable when you're someone rich and powerful like Tony Stark, but far less. So when you're in a middle-class team living in New York, I'd argue it's especially hard if you're also accused of murder and you have no way of proving you didn't do it. It would make total sense that Peter fled town shortly after the announcement, and Spider-Man No Way Home will see him laying low in some other remote location for the time being. Now, this one makes really sense. I think we have had a few leaks that proves that Peter is on the run, and I wouldn't be surprised if the movie actually took this turn, but we'll have to see. Honestly, like I said, nothing's expected. Peter is in prison. This is certainly more obscure theory than the previous ones presented, but one I love all the same. Many people assume that Spider-Man No Way Home is to be set in a location where Peter is separated from home by miles upon miles, but he literally could just be locked up behind bars with the evidence against him and no trial date in sight. Peter could have no way home until he gets his fair shake in court. Now, admittedly, it's kind of hard to do a whole Spider-Man movie where Peter is in prison. For example, it would be difficult to incorporate the rest of the cast, or let Spider-Man do half the stuff Spider-Man would do. On the same token, how amazing would it be to see a goofy Parker trying to hang in prison, where there's some villain trying to take him down as he awaits trial. There's some potential there, even if it's not as strong as an option as some of the others. Now, I really don't know how this would go down, considering seeing a Peter Parker in jail, a literal 17-year-old boy in jail for like a murder he was framed for. I would kind of like to see it, because knowing Marvel, like I said, you don't know what's going to happen, but then again, who knows? Now, this is the fourth theory. Spider-Man Far From Home takes place in space. Now, before we start this theory, we already saw, like, Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. That movies took place in space, and those movies had Spider-Man in them. Avengers Endgame didn't necessarily have Spider-Man in space, but still had space in the movie with Spider-Man in it. So, I'm not hoping this takes place in it. But, Spider-Man No Way Home takes place in space. It's been longly speculated that the MCU would commit to the more cosmic forces in the Marvel Cinematic Universe going forward. and Spider-Man played a part in helping that situation. In Spider-Man Far From Home, Nick Fury, it's revealed that while Peter Parker was none the wiser, Nick Fury was actually not on Earth as he had claimed. He was in space, overlooking threats from a station manned by a bunch of Skrulls. There's actually Tails filling in Fury on Earth. Nick Fury has an eye on the stars, and the Spider-Man who has tons of bad things happening on Earth. Peter may literally feel like he wants to fall off the planet, and with Nick Fury where he's at now. He could give Peter a way of going off world until the heat surrounding him dies down. Again, it's not really a plot that's conducive to including the rest of the Spider-Man cast as we know and love, so maybe not the one we'll see. But I'd love to witness some intergalactic Spidey action. Yeah, me too. As long as they don't turn it into that show Spider-Man Unlimited. That one's bad. Other Spider-Man are trapped in Peter's world. It doesn't matter how much Tom Holland and others may try to deny. There are some convinced that Spider-Man No Way Home will bring in either both Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire to replace their roles as Spider-Man. In the case of the title, the thought is that one or both of these characters would be stuck in Peter's world with no way of getting back to their world. So those are all my theories. Like I said, you don't know what's gonna happen in this movie. It's pretty unexpected, but yeah, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.